Hi everybody. Welcome this morning. Here in Utah, we've got a little bit of rain, and so hopefully the weather's a little bit nicer where you guys are. Today, before we get started, let's go over some of the props you might want to have. So I have a couple of blankets here. You could use a yoga blanket, a regular blanket, or even some folded towels that you have at home. Sometimes it's nice when we're in seated postures just to have a lift, or when we're on our hands and knees to be able to pad our knees. You might also want a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, that's fine. If you have a sturdy coffee table or a low chair that you could use as a support, that could be helpful too. I might, depending on time, be using a yoga strap towards the end. So if you have a strap or a belt, or maybe even a light hand towel that you could hold and kind of wrap around your foot to help give your arms a little bit of length, that might be helpful as well. So let's find a comfortable seat. So I'm seated on my two blankets. You can sit on the mat, on a lift, or if you'd like, you can do this whole first section seated in a chair if it's more comfortable for your low back or your hips. And so before we get started, I wanted to chat just a minute about the practice today. And so the peak pose is going to be eagle pose, and I chose it for a couple reasons. The first reason is it's one of my favorite poses. It's fun, it challenges me, and I just love it, and I hope that you love it too. The reason I haven't done it yet is because it's about 50-50 on whether I can talk and balance at the same time. And so I think I've had this hesitation, maybe a little bit of self-doubt that maybe I shouldn't teach this pose. And so what I'm trying to do is reframe it a little bit, and that's what led to our intention today. And the intention of this practice is to clear a busy mind. And so for everybody, that's going to look a little bit different. For me today, that looks like clearing out all of that negative self-doubt and accepting where I am in my yoga practice and sharing that with you. And so from there, the second reason why eagle is an awesome posture is that for anyone who's done eagle before, or for all of you lucky few who are going to get to try it today, it requires a lot of concentration and steadiness. So steadiness in the mind and also in the body. And it's that steadiness in yoga that can help lead us to a more meditative state, or basically by helping to clear out all of those other thoughts and movement that's going on in our bodies and in our minds, we can look a little bit deeper into ourselves. And so maybe take a moment and think about what that looks like for you in your life this weekend, today. Or if you're sitting there thinking, this is a lot for a Saturday morning, no worries. We're about to get started and we'll just have some fun. So let's stay here on our comfortable lift. If you're joining a little bit late, we're sitting here on a lift or seated in a chair. And let's find a really solid base. So ground down through both of your sitting bones. See if you can find some engagement or integrity in your core. Maybe give yourself a nice shoulder roll back. Draw your shoulder blades down and in on your back body. Reach your crown up towards the ceiling. And from here, we're going to inhale and extend our arms out, reaching our fingertips forwards. On an exhale, see if you can pull your shoulders back, so plug them back into their sockets. And then on an inhale, we're going to open our arms out to the side, palms lift up to the ceiling. We're going to bend into our elbows to touch our fingertips to our shoulders. And from here, we're going to start drawing circles with our elbows. So pick the direction that feels good to you. There's no right or wrong starting point. You can start with small circles and then make your circles get bigger. If you just jumped into big circles, go for it. We're just warming up our shoulder socket so that we're going to be ready for some of the arm positioning of eagle. So let's take a couple more, and then as you're ready, you can change directions if that feels good. If the other direction doesn't feel good, you can keep on cruising the way you're going. As you do this, see if you can stay focused on your breath. Take a couple more elbow rolls here. Maybe one more, and then release. Nice. So from here on an inhale, let's extend our right arm overhead and drop our palm to our crown. On an exhale, see if you can start to guide your right ear towards your right shoulder. And there's going to be space here, so try not to pull too hard. Be gentle on your neck this morning. Take another inhale here. And on an exhale, see if you can draw your fingertips down towards the ground, your left fingertips, and maybe even begin to walk them away from your body. So you may feel this stretch a little bit more intensely through your neck and through your upper shoulders. Let's take another breath in, another breath out. Inhale, let's rise, and exhale, release our right hand back to our comfortable seat. And let's take it to the other side. So on an inhale, we're going to extend our left arm high and drop our palm to our crown. And then on an exhale, gently guide that left ear towards your left shoulder. And be mindful of your neck. We're just warming up here, gentle stretches. Take an inhale here. And on an exhale, see again if you can drop your right fingertips towards the earth. And then maybe, if it feels good, begin to walk your fingertips away from your body just a bit. Let's take one more breath in, one more breath out. Inhale, let's rise. And exhale, let's release our arms. So now what we're going to do is we're going to warm up our eagle arms by trying eagle arms. And so when you're ready, find your comfortable seat, ground down through your sitting bones, reach up through your crown, and we're going to extend our arms in front of us again, reaching forward through our fingertips, and then on an exhale, plugging back our shoulders into their sockets. And from here, we're going to cross our right arm under our left, and we're going to come into this V, where I can see my palms and the back of my hands are facing away from me. And maybe when you do eagle, this is where you stay, and that's totally fine. But what we're going to try to do right now is bring our hands to our shoulders and rest them there. And from here, see if you can start to lift your elbows. And if you feel a lot of sensation in your upper shoulders, between your in your upper back, this might be where you stay as well. Otherwise, if you'd like to try to come into full eagle arms with me, we're going to come back to our V, and then we're going to wrap our right arm again so that our palms touch, fingertips are pointed up towards the ceiling, and then we're going to lift our elbows from here. So whichever variation you're choosing to practice and warm up with right now, I want you to be mindful of your shoulders. So if you're finding that your shoulders are starting to creep up really high, see if you can drop them down a bit from your ears and focus on lifting through your elbows. If you're finding that you're starting to twist a little bit, see if you can pull your shoulders back in alignment. Let's take one more breath in. And exhale, let's release wherever we are. Bring our hands back to our legs. And that might have felt like a really intense stretch. So we're going to take a minute and rest before we take it to the other side. If it feels good to take a couple shoulder rolls, you can do that. Maybe draw your chin to your chest for a moment. Do what feels good in your body. Let's take one more breath in, one more breath out. And then our next breath, we're going to extend our arms back in front of us, fingertips reaching for the front wall, and then exhale, plugging our shoulders back into their sockets. So this time, our left arm is going to cross under our right, and we're going to come back to that V. Palms facing us, back of our hands facing away. And you can stay here lifting your elbows if that feels good to you, or maybe bring your hands to your shoulders. And take a breath here, lifting up through your elbows, keeping that integrity and alignment in your shoulders. And then if you'd like to try that full variation, what I'll invite you to do is take that left arm that you crossed over and wrap it around again so that the palm of your left hand meets the palm of your right hand. Fingertips pointed up towards the ceiling. And from here, check in with your shoulders, pull your right or left shoulder back if it's starting to creep forwards, and then begin to lift your elbows. Good work, guys. We'll be here for just a couple more breaths. So take a full breath in, a full breath out, one more breath in, And exhale, let's release. So again, come back to a comfortable seat. Take any movement that feels good to you, any last minute stretches through your shoulders or upper back. Maybe draw your chin to your chest or give yourself a nice, generous shoulder roll. And then as you're ready, we're gonna make our way to hands and knees. And so as we warm up, we're gonna stay in this hands and knees posture for just a bit. And so I'm gonna take a blanket and pad my knees. If you're on a hard floor like I am, it might feel nice to do the same. So you can use your blanket, or if you've got some folded towels at home, this might be a great time to use them. So in my hands and knees, I'm gonna ground down through all 10 knuckles. You can either tuck your toes here or have the tops of your feet rested on the mat. Wrists are under elbows, elbows are under shoulders, and I'm gonna peek back and see that my knees are about underneath my hips. And from here, I'm gonna start going into a few cat-cows. So on an inhale, we're gonna begin to tilt our tailbone up, drop our belly, pull our shoulders back, open up through our chest, and our gaze will lift upwards. And then on an exhale, begin to tuck your tailbone, round through your spine, press away from the mat, and drop your crown. So move at the pace of your breath. Your inhales are gonna open up and widen through your collarbone as your gaze lifts into cow pose. And on your exhales, you're gonna begin rounding through your spine, widening through your upper back body into cat pose. So keep moving. See if you can let your breath guide the movement. So your inhales are going to happen just a moment before you begin to transition into cow pose. And your exhales will happen just a moment before you transition into cat pose. So let's take one more cow, one more cat, wherever we are. Let your spine move like a wave, one vertebra at a time, starting at your tailbone, all the way up to your crown. And when you're finished your last cow and last cat, we're going to meet in our neutral tabletop. I'm going to give everybody a minute to get back to this comfortable starting point. And we're going to start to warm up our core a little bit. So from here, if you're noticing that your belly's dropping down a little bit and we're getting a little comfortable in this pose, see if you can use your core muscles to really engage through your abdominals, press away from the mat, and have this strong center. So on an inhale, we're going to begin to extend our right arm and our left leg. We're going to pause here for just a moment. So think about sending energy forward through your right fingertips and backwards out the sole of your left foot, the straight line of energy. Let's take a breath in here. On an exhale, we're going to bring our elbow to our knee and kind of crunch here in the middle. On an inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. One more exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Keep your left leg extended, and on an exhale, just drop your right hand back to the mat. So from here, bend into your left knee. So the sole of our left foot's reaching up towards the sky, and we're just going to begin to draw some circles with our knee. So we're warming up the outside of our hip, our glutes. Still working through our core. So we're trying to keep the rest of our body pretty stable. So try not to do a whole bunch of swaying here. Feel free to change directions. And let's take maybe 3 more circles on this side. Last one. And then we can release our knee down. Very nice. And if you'd like, let's take a moment and come out of this. So you can come back into a toe stretch or maybe hero's pose and just come off your wrists for a second. If it feels good, you can stretch into your wrists. Maybe take a couple shoulder rolls. And then we're going to get ready to take it to the other side. So come on back to hands and knees. And again, you can choose if you want to keep your toes tucked or untucked. I find that when I start balancing in these in hands and knees, it's a little bit easier for me with my toes tucked. But feel what feels best for you. And so when we're ready, we're going to begin to extend our left arm and our right leg. And so from here on an inhale, really reach through your left fingertips, press back through the sole of your right foot. And exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Last inhale to extend. Keep your right leg lifted. Exhale, release your right hand. So from here, begin to bend into that right knee this time. So sole of the right foot's reaching up towards the sky. And let's draw some knee circles. So pick the direction that feels good for you. We're keeping that strong core on this side too. Whichever direction you started in, let's switch now. So again, we're warming up our hips a little bit, our outer hips, our glutes. Let's take one more circle, one more breath, and exhale, release. Very nice. And so from here, again, you can come out of your wrists for a moment. Take whatever stretch feels nice. I'm going to stretch my wrist and maybe give myself a very nice, loving shoulder roll back. And so from here, let's remove our blanket if we've had one. Come back to hands and knees just briefly. We're going to get our strong base. Press through all 10 knuckles of our fingers. Press evenly through both palms. Tuck our toes. And from here, we're going to begin to send our hips back and then up towards the sky. So we're coming into our first down dog. Take your time here, pedal out your feet. And remember, we're trying to create this long spine. So on an inhale, maybe see if you can engage through your core and use that abdominal strength to lift your hips up and back a little bit further. Maybe on an exhale, we reach our crown so our ears are pulling away from our shoulders and our crown is sinking down towards the mat. Let's find stillness here for one more breath in, one more breath out. And inhale, let's begin to walk our hands back to our feet. And exhale with a very generous knee bend. Let's come into our first forward fold. So you can even bend your knees so that you can rest your chest on your knees if you'd like. We're really just focusing on keeping that spine long, relaxing through the back of our neck, letting our crown reach down towards the mat. Stay here for one more breath in, one more breath out. Inhale, let's rise to half lift. So send your thighs back. Your crown reaches towards the front wall. Shoulder blades tucked in and back on your back body. Hands can come to shins. And again, let's keep our core engaged here to support our low back. One more breath in. Exhale, bring back that knee bend and let's fold. On your next inhale, one vertebra at a time, we're going to slowly rise to extended mountain. So arms can lift overhead, maybe gaze lifts up. And exhale, release to mountain pose. Okay, so let's move to the front of the mat and find our strong mountain pose up here. So you can choose a couple different options for your feet. So like we talked about last time, you can bring your big toes to touch and then V out your heels maybe a couple of inches. If that doesn't feel very stable for you, you can also keep the feet in a similar position, but bring them out under your hip points. And maybe that'll help you feel a little bit more stable. And so take the option that feels good to you. Really ground down through all four corners of both feet. On an inhale, begin to engage through your thighs, engage through your core. Exhale, keep that grounding down through your feet. Inhale, reach up, reach the crown up towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw your shoulders away from your ears, shine your palms forward. And from here, on an inhale, let's extend our arms overhead. On an exhale, let's fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, one vertebra at a time, rise back up to extended mountain. And exhale, find your mountain again. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms extend overhead, extended mountain. Exhale, let's forward fold. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, one vertebra at a time, rise up to extended mountain. And exhale, mountain pose. Very nice. So from here, we're going to come into our first sequence to really warm up our body. And so as you're ready, let's begin to shift our weight into our right foot. So inhale, begin to shift that weight over. Exhale, ground down through all four corners of that foot. And then on your next inhale, let's lift our left leg so that our thigh is parallel with the mat. Pause here for just another breath in, another breath out. Last breath in. On your next exhale, see if you can slowly begin to draw your left leg back and come in this high lunge. And so you can keep your hands down from now. We're going to start from the feet and work our way up. So let's ground down through our right toe mound and through the toe mound of our left foot as well. Imagine like we're trying to rip the mat in two. Stack your right knee over your right ankle and lift your left heel over your left toe mound. So from here, on an inhale, see if you can hug your thighs to the midline. Keep both hip points forward. Exhale, maybe tuck your tailbone towards your right heel. Nice. Engage through your core. On an inhale, maybe find some lifting through your left hamstring. And then as you're ready, find lightness in your upper body. Extend your arms overhead. And let's create some space in our shoulders. So roll your pinkies to the midline. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Anjaneyasana or crescent lunge. Take a breath in here. Take a breath out. One more inhale. And on an exhale, we're going to bring our left hand and plant it on the inside of our right foot. Nice. Begin to open up towards the right side wall. So right fingertips reach towards the ceiling. Maybe our gaze lifts up. Exhale, really keep your back leg strong and straight. One more inhale here. And exhale, let's unwind. Plant our right hand. Step back with our right foot, and we're going to meet in plank or plank on the knees, whichever feels best for you. And from here, we're going to pause for just a moment, building a little bit of heat. So let's check in, make sure our shoulders are behind our wrists, so we're not reaching way out in front of us. We're using our core to hold most of our weight here. We can keep our heels lifted over our toe mounds, hug our thighs to the midline. Maybe take one more breath here. And exhale, slowly lower down until your belly hits the mat. And you can release your forehead, untuck your toes, and take a couple breaths. On your next inhale, pull your shoulders back, lifting your chest off the mat. We're going to pause here for a moment in Baby Cobra. And I want you to feel the sensation between your shoulder blades. So if you're feeling anything, any pinching or discomfort in your low back, see if you can ground your sacrum down. Reach it back towards the soles of your feet, and then pull forwards with your sternum. And find that length in your spine. We'll be here for one more inhale. And exhale, release. Inhale, let's tuck our toes, engage our core, and let's make our way back up to plank or plank on the knees. And then on an exhale, let's all send our hips up and back to downward facing dog. Take a nice few breaths here. So deep inhale, Maybe an audible exhale. Inhale, maybe send your hips up a little higher. Exhale, reach your crown down towards the mat. Inhale, find that long spine. And exhale, maybe we press our heels a little bit closer to the mat. On an inhale, let's reach our right leg up high. So we're coming into this three-legged dog. And then on an exhale, begin to slowly move your knee up through your chest. Then we're going to step our right foot between our hands into this low lunge and drop our back knee. So now might be another great time to have our blanket available. So I'm going to take my blanket or a towel and pad my back knee because I'm going to be here for just a moment. So let's settle into this hip flexor stretch. So on an inhale, really send your hips forward and down. See if you can open up through your shoulders or through your chest, and so pulling your shoulders back. Or if you have a block or another low surface, this is a great time to kind of help give you a little bit more support. So inhale here, really open up through your chest. Exhale, keep drawing your hips forward and down. One more inhale. One more exhale. On your next inhale, if you found blocks, let's move them off to the side. Exhale, we're going to plant both of our hands on the inside of our right foot and begin to toe heel our right foot towards the long edge of the mat. So the pinky edge of my foot is lined up with the long edge. And then when I get there, I'm going to turn my toes out about 45 degrees. So I'm going to come into a lizard stretch. And so right here, check in with your body. And so if this feels like enough sensation, you can stay right here. If it feels like too much sensation, feel free to bring your bricks back and lift up a little bit. It's going to give your arms a little bit more length so you don't have to come as deep into the stretch. If, on the other hand, you're looking for more of a stretch, you're welcome to begin to come down onto your elbows or maybe even fold a little bit deeper, but just be mindful of your hips. So as you fold, if you feel like your hips are starting to lift up, come out of it a bit, because what we want is to really focus on getting low through those hips. So let's stay here for one more breath in, one more breath out. And on an inhale, let's begin to toe heel our right foot back so that it's framed by our hand. And then as you're ready, let's lift our back heel, our back knee off of the mat. Move our blanket off to the side if you had one, and step back to plank or plank on the knees. One more inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower down to the mat. Untuck our toes. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Inhale, tuck our toes, engage through our core. Find ourselves back up in plank. And then exhale, down dog. We're just going to be here for a couple breaths, but see if you can find some stillness. Maybe inhale, focus on that long spine. Exhale, maybe draw your heels a little bit closer to the earth. One more inhale here. One more exhale. And inhale, let's begin to walk our hands back to our feet. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, one vertebra at a time. Let's rise all the way up to standing. So we can keep our arms down. We're just going to come to mountain. Take a couple breaths here. If you feel like you've lost your breath during that last sequence, take a moment to find it. Maybe let your gaze close down. Maybe notice any heat. I know that I'm feeling a little bit of heat after that one. Any heat that's building in your body. Let's take one more inhale here. One more exhale. If you close down your gaze, let's blink it back open. And we're going to meet back at the top of our mat. So we're going to take that same sequence on the other side. So as you're ready, and when you find a strong base, begin to shift your weight into your left foot. Exhale, ground down through all four corners of your feet. And on an inhale, begin to lift your right leg until your thigh is about parallel with the mat. Let's take a couple breaths here. Keep our core engaged. One more inhale. On an exhale, slowly, at the pace of your breath, step your right foot back into this high lunge. Again, let's find that grounding down through our feet. So really press forward, send energy forward out through your front shin and back out the sole of your left foot. So it's really that ripping my mat in half sensation. And so from here, let's stack our left knee over our left ankle. Maybe lift our right heel over our right toe mound. On an inhale, let's hug our thighs to the midline, hips point forward. Exhale, maybe we can tuck our tailbone towards our left heel. Inhale, find that length, that lifting through your right hamstring. Exhale, really keep that core engaged. And then on an inhale, find that lightness in the upper body. Send your arms overhead. And exhale, roll your pinkies to the midline. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Anjaneyasana, crescent lunge. We'll be here for just a couple breaths. One more inhale. And on an exhale, let's this time plant our right hand on the inside of our left foot. Begin to open up towards the left side wall. Left fingertips reach towards the sky. Inhale, reach up. Maybe gaze lifts past our left fingertips. Exhale, keep that grounding, that strong straight back leg. One more inhale here. Exhale, let's unwind. Frame our foot. Let's step back. Plank or plank on the knees. And again, we're going to pause here for just a moment or two. So one thing that I learned to help me use my core muscles the best that I can is to imagine that my shirt's on fire. And so I'm trying to pull away from my shirt. And that's going to help me use the muscles that are a little bit deeper that help support my spine and help me walk with really good posture. So take another breath here. And exhale, slowly lower down all the way to our bellies. Untuck your toes. You can let your forehead rest on the earth. Take a breath here. Release that breath. And on an inhale, let's begin to pull our shoulders back, lifting our chest off the mat. Baby Cobra. And again, we're going to pause here, build a little bit of strength in our upper back body. And so check in with your low back. If you're feeling that sensation, again, ground down through your sacrum, reach forward through your sternum or your chest bone. Find length. Sometimes it helps too to think about drawing your elbows down towards the earth. Keep that long spine, long neutral neck. One more inhale here. And exhale, release. Inhale, tuck your toes, engage through your core. Make your way back up to plank or plank on your knees. And exhale, let's send our hips up and back to downward facing dog. So take a few breaths here. You can give some nice big inhales, maybe some audible exhales if you feel like that's what your body's needing. Inhale, think about that long spine, that lifting through your hips, that reaching down with your crown. And exhale, maybe we reach our heels a little bit closer to the mat. One more breath in here. One more breath out. And inhale this time. Let's send our left leg up high to three-legged dog. And exhale, slowly bring our knee to our chest and step our left foot through to the top of the mat. And from here, we're in our low lunge, and we're going to drop our back knee. So if you still have that blanket or that towel available, I'm going to use it. It might feel really good to pad that back knee. So from here, inhale, find our long spine, neutral neck, and exhale, press our hips down and forward. Inhale, open up through your chest. So that might mean pulling your shoulders back and coming up to fingertips. Or if you have blocks, this is also a great time. just like on the last round, to use them. Take another breath in here. Exhale, see if you can send your hips a little bit more forward and down. Last breath in. Last breath out. And an inhale, if you have blocks, let's remove them. And then on an exhale, let's plant both of our hands on the inside of our left foot. And take your time as we toe here our left foot until our pinky edge lines up with the left long edge of our mat. And from here, once your foot's arrived, turn your toes out about 45 degrees angle, at about a 45 degrees angle. And from here again, check in and see how your body's feeling right here. We're sending our hips forward and down, and this is where we can stay, or if it's too much, we can bring our hands up to bricks or to our stable surface, adding a little bit of length in our arms. Or if you want a deeper stretch, you are more than welcome to try to come down to your elbows or even fold a little bit deeper. But just be mindful here as you're folding to keep checking back with your hips and making sure that we're stretching the parts of the body that we want to be focused on right now. Let's take one more inhale wherever you are. One more exhale. Inhale, if you fold, to begin to press your body up. And exhale, let's begin to toe heel our foot back into our low lunge. Inhale, lift our back knee. Let's remove our blanket. Exhale, step back to plank on the knees. And from here, slowly lower all the way down to the mat, or you can take a chaturanga. Inhale up through baby cobra, or maybe you come up to up dog. Gaze lifts. And exhale, everybody, let's make our way into downward facing dog. So let's take a few breaths here. Let's take some deep inhales, deep exhales. Inhale, find that long spine. Lift your hips up. Exhale, maybe reach your crown a little bit closer to the mat. Inhale, keep that length. And exhale, see if you can draw your heels maybe even closer to the mat than you have so far. One more inhale. One more exhale. Inhale, let's begin to walk our hands back towards our feet. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale slowly, one vertebrae at a time. Let's rise up to extended mountain. And exhale, let's all meet in a mountain pose, our Tadasana. Maybe you close down your gaze. Again, just notice what's happening in your body. Notice if you feel any energy moving around, or maybe a little bit more heat building in your body. Take another breath in, another breath out. If we've closed down our gaze, let's blink open again. And we're going to make our way back to the top of our mat. I'm going to turn and face the long edge just so you guys can see me. But for this, you can face really any edge that you'd like to face. So before we come into eagle, we're going to warm up our balance just a little bit more. And so let's bring our toes to touch. Let's kick out our heels and make this kind of small V, maybe a couple inches of space between our heels. Engage through our thighs, through our core. Find your strong mountain pose here. And then on an inhale, we're going to extend our right arm overhead. And we're going to extend our left leg out to the side. So we have a straight leg and our toes are touching the ground. Take a moment here to really feel this posture in your body. Take a breath in. And on an exhale, we're going to take that elbow to our knee, kind of like what we did in our warm-up earlier. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. We're going to take two more. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, extend. Last one. Exhale, elbow to knee. And inhale, extend. Exhale, release. So come back to your mountain pose, whatever that looks like. Take a nice cleansing breath in. And a big breath out. And let's get situated to take it to the other side. So toe mounds touch. Let's split out our heels into a V. Engage through our thighs, engage through our core. And on an inhale, we're going to extend our left arm over our head and our right leg out to the side, toes touch. So take another breath in here. On an exhale, let's bring our knee to our elbow to our knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, elbow to knee, contract. Inhale, rise. Exhale, contract. Inhale, rise. And we'll take 2 more. Exhale, contract. Inhale, rise. Exhale, contract. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Nice. Okay. So take a moment here. Take any gentle movement that might feel good. We're going to make our way into our eagle practice. So if there's any last minute shoulder rolls that you want to take or leg movements, feel free. And then as you're ready, let's bring our toes to touch again. Let's V out our feet. And what we want to do is begin to engage through our thighs, bend into our knees just a little bit to send our hips down and back. Keep your hands on your hips for now, because a lot of times what happens when we come into this knee bend, a lot of people begin to sway through their low back. So see if you can use your thumb and your hands to really tuck your tailbone to get this long spine. So tuck our tailbone, hip points are both pointed forwards. And then as you're ready, let's begin to cross our right foot over our left. So we're just going to cross our leg and we're going to let our right toes stay down on the ground for now. Sometimes when we cross our legs, what happens is our hip comes with us. So with our hands on our hips, see if you can pull your right hip back. In eagle pose, we have this constant awareness in our shoulders and in our hips. So if you ever feel your right hip creeping forward on this side, just keep it plugged back. So from here, take the arm choice, or take the arm variation of your choice. So inhale, extend arms forward, reach forward through your fingertips. Exhale, plug your sockets. And I'm going to teach the way I taught it, where our left arm crosses underneath. But I've seen a lot of variations where people like to put their right arm underneath when they're doing their right leg. So take what feels good for you. I'm going to cross my left arm under, make my V. Touch my shoulders, see where I'm at. And if that feels good, I'm going to come all the way around to my palms touch. Fingertips reach up towards the sky, and I lift up through my elbows. So you can stay right here, and that is totally fine. If you'd like to try a little bit of balance, see if you can find a gazing point. So maybe somewhere, if you're looking past your nose towards the ground, maybe there's a spot on your carpet or on your floor that you can notice. And then, as you're grounding down through your left leg, maybe your right foot lifts up a little bit and tucks on the outside of your left shin. Maybe, if you're really curious, we reach our right toes around and hook them on the back of our left calf. And we work on our balance and our steadiness. So take a few breaths wherever you are. Bring that awareness back to your shoulders and to your hips. See if you can get everything back in line. Let's take one more breath in. And exhale, let's release our legs. Let's release our arms. Close down our gaze. Come back to our breath. A lot of times when we're trying to do a balance posture, it's really easy to hold and retain your breath because you feel like any extra movement is just gonna send your face forward. So maybe take an opportunity on this side to practice being mindful of your breath. See if you can hold on to it. One more inhale. One more exhale. And let's get our strong feet again for our other side. So toe mounds touch, we can V out our feet slightly. Start to engage through your thighs, through your core. And then as you're ready, begin to bend into your knees a little bit. Send your hips down and back. And again, hands on hip points to keep your hips in a line and also tuck your tailbone to keep a long spine. So from here, as you're ready, you can begin to cross your left leg over your right. Left toes come to the earth. Check in with your hip if you felt like you started to turn, pull it back in. And then from here, take the arm variation of your choice. So inhale, extend your arms forward, reach forward through your fingertips. Exhale, plug your shoulders back into their sockets. And then again, if you decided to use cross your right arm under last time, take your left. Otherwise, stick with me and we're going to cross our right arm under our left. Come up to our V and then feel out where you're at on this side. So maybe we bring our hands to our shoulders. Maybe we wrap our right arm around one more time. Bring our palms to touch, fingertips lifting upwards. And then begin to lift and draw our elbows up. Check in with your shoulders. See that they're both in a line. And then from here, maybe you stay right here, or maybe we test our balance by lifting our left foot up, tucking it on the outside of our right shin. Or maybe we wrap all the way around, hooking our left toes behind our right calf, and we balance here for a moment. So find that gazing point. Inhale, keep that length in your spine. And exhale, find that grounding. Inhale, maybe check back in with your hips, with your shoulders. See that they're still doing okay. They're still in a good spot. Exhale, keep engaging through your core. Just like one more breath in. And exhale, let's release our legs. And then let's release our arms. I want everybody to come to mountain pose if that feels good. If that's just too much, you can make your way to child's pose, that's fine. And whichever posture you take, mountain pose or child's pose, close down your gaze for a moment. So BKS Iyengar was a yoga guru who really helped make yoga more accessible for everybody. So he pioneered the use of props, so all of these blocks and bolsters and straps that we use today. And he said, the ribs are the wings of the body. Open your wings. So let's take a moment, fresh out of our eagle posture, to send some really deep inhales and feel our rib cage expand. And exhale, maybe notice how the breath leaves your body. So inhale, feel that expansion. And exhale, feel that breath as it leaves. Let's take 2 more inhales here. So one more big inhale, followed by a nice generous exhale. And then last breath in, last breath out. Wherever you are, let's open up our gaze and we're going to make our way onto our back body. So from mountain pose or child's pose, we're going to make our way so that our body can feel the long edge of our mat. If you'd like, you may want to grab a strap or a belt or that hand towel that we mentioned earlier. This might come in handy for this first one. So let's lay all the way back and just get settled for a moment. And as you're ready, we're going to bend into both knees and bring the soles of our feet to the ground. We're going to get our strap, our belt, our towel ready, and we're going to bring the strap or whatever prop you're using to the bottom of our right foot or the toe mound of our right foot. And from here, we're going to extend our right leg and press the sole of our foot into the strap, reaching up towards the ceiling. And from here, you can keep your left leg bent if that feels good in your low back. If it's available to you, you can also extend your left leg long and ground down through your left leg. So we're going to take a few breaths here. On your inhale, see if you can press into that strap, find some length, some lifting, and then also ground down through your left leg. And then on an exhale, maybe gently pull into your strap. See if you can go a little bit deeper into this hamstring stretch. So inhale, find that lifting, that grounding. And exhale, pull, maybe deepen into the stretch a bit. So inhale, we're pressing, we're grounding, and exhale, we're deepening. Let's take one more inhale, press, ground, and exhale, deepen. Last breath in. And exhale, begin to bend into your right knee, release your strap, and extend your right leg long. Pause here for a moment. Notice what's going on in your legs. Maybe you notice a difference between your right leg and your left leg. And from here, we're going to bend back into both knees, soles of our feet firmly planted on the ground. And let's take it to the other side. So let's bring our strap under the toe mountain of our left foot. And from here, begin to extend through that left knee. Get into a nice position where you can keep your shoulder blades tucked down on the ground. And then from here, our right knee can stay bent, or maybe it extends long, and we keep that grounding, but this time it's through the back of our leg. So inhale, press into the strap, find that lifting through your left leg and that grounding into your right leg. And exhale, maybe we pull on the strap somewhat and we deepen into the stretch. So inhale, we're going to find lifting, grounding, and exhale, maybe we deepen. Inhale, press, ground down through your right leg, and exhale, maybe deepen. Let's take one more breath here. Inhale, we find length, we ground, and exhale, we deepen. Take a last inhale here. Exhale, bend into your left knee, release your strap, and send your left leg long to meet your right. You can set your strap off to the side. Just take a moment here. Notice your legs. Notice your whole body. And as you're ready, we'll begin to bend into both knees again. Soles of the feet touch. And we're going to come into that reclined figure 4 position that we did last week. So as you're ready, we're going to cross our right ankle over our left thigh. And before we begin to stretch into our hip, we want to protect our knee. So flex into our right ankle so that we have about a 90-degree angle between the top of our foot and our shin. And from here, you can begin to press your right knee away from your body. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you begin to walk your left heel a little closer to your sitting bones. If you're looking for a more intense stretch, you can reach and grab the back of your left thigh and pull your thigh towards your chest. Whichever variation you're taking, keep that flexion in your right ankle to protect your knee. You can use that same strap that we had if you need a little bit of length for your arms to grab your leg. Maybe take a couple ankle rolls if you're in this lifted variation and it feels good. One more breath in. On an exhale, we're just going to drop our left foot, but keep our right leg crossed. Extend our arms out to a T or up to cactus. And then on an inhale, let's press into our left foot, send our hips just a couple inches to the right. And then on an exhale, begin to draw the outside of your left knee out towards the ground. So the sole of our right foot is reaching towards the ground as well. And we're coming into this reclined spinal twist. So you have options here. If this doesn't feel good, you can even bring a block or a pillow underneath this bottom foot. Or you can always come back to that option we've taken the past couple weeks with our knees stacked, and maybe we grab a prop to go in between our knees or underneath our bottom knee. Take a couple breaths here, ground down through our shoulder blades. Maybe our gaze goes past our right shoulder. One breath in, one breath out. Inhale, let's rise. And exhale, press into the sole of your left foot to square up our hips. As you're ready, we're going to release our right foot back down. And we're going to take it to the other side. So you can bring your hands back down by your sides for now. We're going to cross our left foot over our right thigh and find that same flexion in your left ankle. So we want to keep our left knee protected, which means we just don't want to put any extra stress on it. So when you flex into that knee, it helps get everything in a better alignment so that the stretch is really happening in your hips. So from here, maybe this is where we stay and we just work on pressing our left knee away from our body. Maybe we walk our right heel a little closer to our sitting bones, or maybe we reach around and grab the back of our thighs with our hands or with the strap and begin to pull our thigh a little closer towards our chest. Keep that flexion in your ankle. And as we stay here for a couple more breaths, if you're in this lifted variation, maybe you take a couple ankle rolls, if that feels good. Just take one more breath in. Exhale, we're going to release our right foot down, keep our left leg crossed. On an inhale, press into your right, the sole of your right foot. Shift your hips a couple inches to the left. And then on an exhale, begin to draw that sole of your left foot down towards the earth. So bring your hands out to a T or to cactus. And take a moment here. Find the leg variation of your choice. This one's just kind of for fun. But if you want to have your knees stacked, that is totally fine. If you need props to help lift a little bit out of the twist so that you can keep your shoulders planted, please feel free to use them. If it feels good, maybe you can send your gaze past your left shoulder. Take a breath in here. Breath out. One more breath in. More big exhale. On an inhale, let's rise back up. Exhale, ground into the sole of your right foot to help shift your hips back in alignment. And let's come into a full body stretch here. So extend your legs long, extend your arms overhead. And we're going to make our way into Shavasana. So what I want you guys to do is let's release our arms down by our sides, palms shine upwards. Create a little bit of space between our legs. Maybe let your toes fall to the outsides. Relax through the inner linings of your legs. Maybe on an exhale, let your back body melt into the earth. Inhale, if you haven't done so already, close down your gaze. Inhale, relax through the muscles of your face, through your jaw, through your neck. And we're going to come to stillness here. And as we come to stillness, I'm going to read you a short poem that just brings us back to our intention. And it's called Walk Slowly by Dana Falds. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still, and just like that, something in me settles, softens, and makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, that waking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe, and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. And so I'm going to leave you guys here in Shavasana to take as much time as you need to breathe and be still and just clear our busy minds. So thanks for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.